Eureka! You found us! Welcome to the Checkout California radio show, your key to California hospitality. Hosted by Rad Gantos, principal of Rad Gantos and Associates, a hospitality and commercial real estate design firm, and Craig Sullivan, executive vice president of Park West GC, a hospitality and commercial real estate general contractor. Checkout California is focused on our state's hospitality, travel, and tourism markets, and on the large part they play in California's vibrant and innovative economic diversity and unique quality of life. Now,
good afternoon and welcome to Checkout California. I'm Craig Sullivan.
Checkout California Christmas. Special.
Christmas. Kwanzaa.
Happy holidays.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
And who are you?
Oh, I'm Rod Gantos.
There you go.
I'm Rod Gantos after a cigar and a couple of shots and walking Balboa Island and pretending that we're cold.
We're having a couple of libations.
Yeah, first of all, gentlemen, Paul, cheers.
And don't forget Jackie Collins.
And Jackie's on the phone. Jackie Collins. Jackie, cheers. Happy holidays.
Cheers.
And
thank you for joining us today, Jackie. Let me go around the room and say who's here. We've got Stephen Semp from Crew Real Estate Group.
Wave. You got to wave in to do it.
Got to wave.
Wave.
Okay.
Merry Christmas.
Sachin Shah from Atlas Hospitality. And we've got Ryan Huntsman from Chicago Title. Thank you all for joining us today. We'll have.
And who's Jackie? Where's Jackie from?
Jackie's from AJ Gallagher, and she is based in Houston.
Houston.
So, Jackie, thank you.
She's missing the party here. She's missing the party here.
Yes, she is, but she'll be here in March. So
no, we want you in camera. Come on, everybody. This is
just got to lean in. Yeah.
This is Guild by Association today.
I can't move the camera. He's got to lean in because otherwise.
Sorry, Jackie. Yeah, you got to save distance, but you're still Guild by Association. So.
You know, this is quite the picture to envision.
Oh, believe me, whatever you're envisioning, it's worse than that.
Well, folks, if you go on
Truth in Advertising,
if you go to OC Talk Radio and look up our Facebook page, we're on there right now. Or if you go to OC Talk Radio's YouTube page, we're streaming live over that, and we're even trying Periscope for the first time.
Periscoping.
Whoa,
Wow.
we're Periscoping.
Whoa.
Oh, there we go.
Down Periscope.
No.
Down Periscope.
Didn't you get the memo about political correctness here this year?
Yeah.
It doesn't apply.
It
doesn't apply.
Have you seen anything that's happened politically this year?
As far as correctness goes?
There's no correctness.
There's no
correctness.
So
There
we're
is no
good.
correctness,
We're
so.
good.
The sky's the limit.
So, Jackie, how's everything in Houston? Are you ready for the holidays?
Yes, well, depends on how you define ready. If it's my kids' idea of it, probably not. Just because I probably don't have everything under the tree they'd like to see, but as far as I am concerned, yes.
You know, I was listening to this guy the other day, and he was talking about Christmas at his house. And I think he was on one of Rad's other shows. And he was talking about how he wraps up empty boxes, and if the kids start misbehaving, he throws them in the fireplace.
Oh, my goodness.
Them to behave.
I'm gonna do.
There's one less.
I'm gonna do a plug.
Oh my God!
It's
Wow.
Okay, so
Can you imagine that relative you really don't like? Here's yours. Boom.
Well, can't imagine my kid's face if I did that.
Oh, you burned my toy.
Instantly crying.
So I suggested. Go ahead, Jackie.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, okay, you go.
My kids do not like for their stuff to just be under the tree. They want a challenge to find it. This crazy story how it started. But last year, it's like every year I have to come up with a new, what am I going to do?
So what do you put it at the neighbor's house or something? You put it at the fire station down the street?
So last year I put it in the recycle bin at my house and put a bag of recycle on top.
Jackie, do you have an attic?
Forever.
Jackie, do you have an attic?
An attic?
Yes, I've done that one before.
But did you lock them in after they went up there?
Oh my gosh, no.
Can I take you in the Wayback Machine? When my dad, who's no longer with us, but when he was a little boy in the 20s and 30s, Santa didn't just bring the presents. He brought the tree and all the decorations. So when they finally get him to go to bed, the parents had to stay up all night and make it appear like the tree appeared out of nowhere and the presents appeared out of nowhere.
That's too much work. I'm sorry.
That's crazy.
Hey, Jackie, tell us about some of the stuff you're seeing in the hospitality industry right now around the country. Let's give AJ Gallagher a plug, and also thank you for being a sponsor for 2 years in a row now with the California Lodging Investment Conference. Jackie hit it out of the park and closed the conference last year with Steve, Larry Broughton, Alan Ray,
Awesome
and Mark LeBlanc.
Yeah,
and
Mark was there.
that was the panel that just off the charts scoring wise with everything. And yeah, Jackie was a little worried about it. I said, no, Jackie, I know you're going to hit it out of the park, and she did. Thank you.
Thanks, Craig. So what we're seeing around the country is, from an insurance and risk management perspective is, things are going to be probably challenging for 2018 due to, 3 large hurricanes coming through, being Harvey, Irma, and Maria, and then fires in California and earthquakes around the world. So I just got back from London and meeting with property underwriters, and, they've all warned what we can look for in 18. So it'll be a challenging year, but one that we're definitely up for on keeping people's rates down and coverages where they need.
So what can they worry about? You just said to look for the problems in the year. What's the problem?
Yeah, hold on. We need to get a refill for Greg. Hold on.
Oh, okay. Stand by. Craig can't listen if he doesn't have a drink in his hand here.
Yeah.
He's
Not
Irish.
today, Jackie.
He's already lost the headphones, Jackie, and now he's asking for a second bottle of Stella.
Yeah.
And I'm trying. Yeah.
Our new
Yeah,
sponsor,
I'm doing some
please.
product. I'm doing some product placement for Tequila and Stella, and Glenlivet. Just hopefully next year we get it sponsored on this show.
Yeah.
So just
Why not?
on occasion I'm going to just name drop something in it.
So what are the challenges? You said we were telling people to get prepared, what they have to be prepared for. What is it?
Well, so, price increases will be the challenge on their insurance premiums. So, if you're an account that has a coastal exposure, you're probably looking at, 5 to 10% increases, maybe up to 15. If you're an account that had claims due to hurricanes or flooding and, some of the fires, you're probably looking at higher increases than that. And then, accounts that haven't had claims and aren't coastal, you'll probably see some 0 to 5% increases depending on who your carrier is. We've been successful so far in keeping rates down. We've seen anywhere, we had one that we did at a 0.5% increase and one at a 3% increase. But, it's definitely something hoteliers across the globe will have to be.
And that's because of the hit that they took this year with all the payouts they had?
Yeah. So now I did read this morning
way
that the
too
tax
serious,
reform may help
I know.
some because, the taxes going down.
Can I get a shot, please?
Do you want a shot of tequila or a shot of scotch?
I want to hear the news. I want to know what's happening.
Wait
You
a
guys
minute.
just want to have a good time. I want to know what's coming.
Yeah, we want to have a good
You know what's
time.
your problem, right? You
Yeah.
don't have anything to drink over there. That's the problem.
You know what it is? No, before we go any further, Jackie has to
Wait,
walk
are
around
you
and
about to make an Irish toast or something? The way you look right now is like a perfect Irish toast. right
Yes,
now.
I'll do that in a second here. But first, I'm drinking Mexican tequila, and I'm not a big tequila drinker. What is this tequila we're drinking? And
That
show
is
it.
Azul.
We have to talk to the mic.
Azul, and it is very smooth.
Product placement with the
It is
camera.
Here we
very
go.
smooth.
Azul tequila.
It doesn't burn or anything. It's got a
No.
very smooth taste to it here.
Yeah, it's.
We got to
it's
turn
just
your
very-
mic, or you got to slide back
very
that way
smooth,
further.
Very smooth.
There
I
we
think
go.
if you slides any further back, we'll be in trouble.
No, I'm not sliding anywhere.
And why did you make us all wear these stupid Hawaiian shirts with Santa on them?
Wow, really?
Wow, really? Really?
Well,
Did
first
we not
off, not
pay
all
you
of us
already?
got that.
Not
invitation.
all of us got that thing here.
Yes,
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
so,
gratitude for you.
Yeah.
Jackie, I don't have a set of headphones on, but I want to thank you, and I'm going to let you depart this madness right now. So have a Merry Christmas. I love you. I'm going to send over some parting gifts for you and the boys, and I will talk to you soon.
Happy holidays,
Guys,
Jackie.
I appreciate you having. Same to you.
Merry Christmas,
Thank you.
Jackie. See ya.
Jackie.
See you in March.
Alrighty.
Yeah, see you in March. Right.
Bye.
Happy holidays.
Hey, Sachin.
What is going on in March?
Yes.
Yes.
We got him to
Even
talk.
though he's like half on camera. Okay. I'm like, okay, there you go. Just
And what's happening in
lean
March?
in.
Yeah, so what is happening in March? Is
March.
Jackie's
Yeah,
coming out
what's
for?
the big thing about March?
Is there anything
It's
coming on?
the
March.
Second
What
annual California Lodging Investment Conference. Click 2.
Is that the continuation of March Madness?
No, this is March information.
If you thought that you
and this is also about
No, it's March
personal
Madness.
development and the hospitality industry. and what California is in that grander scope.
Give us a preview. So who's talking? What am I going to hear if I show up?
Stephen Semp's talking.
You still got to talk into the mic, though, if you want to get you to
Stephen
hurt.
Semp's talking. We got Rad Gantos moderating.
Just slide that way.
We've
I'm
got-
moderating.
Slide towards-
I'm moderating.
He's
Do you get
moderating.
that?
Go toward. No, take your whole
That
chair and
should
move
be-
towards Rad about 6 inches.
Oh, there we go.
Wow,
There
you
you
guys
go.
need
How's
a
that?
room?
I mean,
They're
me
pretty
moderating.
awfully uncomfortable.
Me moderating is worth the registration fee on its own, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Ryan Huntsman is exhibiting, and Sachin Shaw and his company is also a sponsor, and Sachin will be there again this year. So it's a great one-day event, solely focused on the California lodging industry.
Give me a
and
topic. What am I going to hear?
You're going to hear about hotel investment and due diligence. You're going to hear about construction, PIPs, property improvement plans, deep renovations, repositioning of assets.
This is real
and
serious stuff here. This is
also-
really a deep dive into the
It
industry.
is.
Here.
It
Yeah.
is. You're going to be there too for the
I'm
first
gonna be
time.
there
So
for a
we're
while.
going
I'm gonna learn
to
something.
be doing a remote for Check Out California, and Steve Semp's on the opening panel this year. We needed more life on the opening panel, so I moved Steve, and he's going to.
He's been pretty quiet so far.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would be the perfect person for opening, but hey, whatever.
No, you did a great job last
pretty
year.
quiet,
You know,
yeah.
you know, you and Glenn.
I'm shy.
You and Glenn together are going to just light up the room. So yeah, you guys get to set the tone for the
Nice.
the conference, and Glenn certainly did last year, and Glenn will be joining us a little later. It was just a phenomenal day. We sold out our first year. So
So if anybody's got any questions on the conference or on the show or any of these gentlemen that are in the studio, or even if you want to really, I don't know why, but you want to talk to Paul, right?
Let's get Bruce on the phone.
You know,
Okay.
just reach out to us. I'm also monitoring the OC Talk radio station on or page on Facebook, which has the live feed. So if you have any questions, you can't get through to the number. Paul, give out the number, please.
That number is 949-330-7762. 949-330-7762. Operators standing by.
Standing by, or sitting actually at this point, right? But I'm also monitoring, like I said, the live feed on Facebook at the OC Talk Radio page. So if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them. Bruce Ford just weighed in and said it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Yes, sirree, Bob. It is 5 o'clock somewhere, and
Definitely here.
It's definitely,
Definitely
here.
here.
there
Right?
we go.
So Bruce, we're trying to get Bruce on the
Lean
call
forward,
here,
Sachin.
and yeah, everybody just get really comfortable with the mics, right? And then if you have any questions at all about the conference, like I said, or what happened last year, it was an awesome conference, and it sold out. So do not miss out on this. We keep telling people this, and they're like, yeah, you know, everybody's like last minute these days, but put it on your list of to-dos. You got time between
Thank you,
Christmas
guys.
and New Year. Go register. Where do they go register?
CLIconference.com.
CLI conference spelled out.com. And what promo code can they use if they want to
Check out CA, and you get a 20% discount.
Check that out.
check out CA, 20% off. Do not miss this thing. It was a one-day event, a lot of movers and shakers, an awesome California-focused conference, and you do not want to miss out this year. It'll be at the same place. Where is it going to be?
It's going to be at the Hilton Irvine, Orange County Airport, and we were contacted by another brand. We may be adding another brand this year.
What brands did we have last year?
Well, last year we had Wyndham, we had Choice Hotels, we also had Red Roof Hotels, and Best Western. And they're returning, and we've also got IHG on board this year.
Awesome.
So Intercontinental Hotel Group and Rich Carlson, thank you very much. And we've got a mystery brand that has reached out, and I'm waiting to hear back.
Do you ever
from
get the
them.
brand that I stay at when I travel around the country? I'm a big fan of this brand. It's called the No-Tel Motel. Do you ever
No,
get that one?
no, they're not.
They're not
no.
sponsoring
That's
this.
the anonymous sponsor.
That's
Yeah.
They're anonymous.
Yes, for around Valentine's
Very
Day
good.
of next
Very good,
year.
Sachin.
Yeah, around Valentine's Day next year, we will have a show sponsored by Paul's favorite brand. I guess we'll talk about that then.
Yeah.
But
And
no, I
Bruce
mean,
Ford, Paul's calling you right now, so he's got my phone and his phone, so we're gonna get you on
We're
the
gonna
air
get you on
here
the
in
air.
just a second.
so gentlemen, you guys were all at the conference last year, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. That
What
was-
you want to share some inputs on the conference?
well, for me, it was priceless. So much networking and information in one day. It's worth it all. You know, been to the other conferences that are the 2-3 days.
Yeah.
They just kind of drag.
And who
Where
has the
this-
time anymore, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I mean, it's
You're all closing deals.
Yeah,
bouncing all over the country. So
Yeah.
for you to give up 2 or 3 days, you to give up 2 or 3 days, Ryan, and Sachin to give up 2 or 3 days, it's difficult. And okay,
Yeah, but everybody says, yeah, my conference is the best, blah, blah. So share some stuff that you guys got from last year. I mean, it was the first year, sold out, right? You guys are pretty seasoned on the conference circuit. So what was it that made this conference different? Other than Craig Sullivan right here.
So there's so many. There's 3 a day you can go to, and you've got to be selective on the ones that you choose.
Right.
So
Closer to the
typically, when you have somebody, myself, I'm a vendor.
Yeah.
So we've got to get in front of all of the different owners. We've got to get in front of all the brokers. So for us
Lenders
to be
as well.
us to be in one room and have all the major players, it's just a way for
I
us
mean,
to
it was
touch
literally
all of our-
one room, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Couldn't have been more convenient for a vendor.
Was it
See, and that's-
successful for you last
Very,
year?
very.
And that's one of the differences. We don't have breakout panels. We don't have, you're in one room all day. And I wanted that. I wanted all of our exhibitors and sponsors around the perimeter of the room. I didn't want anybody agonizing, do I go to a financing panel or do I go to a development panel, let's say.
Right.
You have the opportunity to hear everything. You're in one room with everyone, so it worked out really well. Now, there's some great multi-day conferences out there.
Right.
Jim Butler and JMBM puts on, one of the premier hotel conferences here in California. Harry Javers puts on the lodging conference at the Arizona Biltmore, another premier event. And they're multi-day, and there's breakouts. And you've got 2,000 people at those. So this isn't designed to be that. This is to be focused solely on California. And everybody who's in that room is boots on the ground and ready to continue doing business in California. Now, we got Bruce Ford on the phone.
Yes, so talk about, Bruce, welcome. There's a room full of drunk people here wearing weird Hawaiian
yet.
shirts.
We're working on it.
Cheers,
Hi,
Bruce.
Bruce.
Happy holidays.
And they're all trying to be
Yeah,
serious at the
happy
same time
holidays.
here.
We're in high
Hey,
spirits.
everybody out there
Wow.
in California, I'd show you a picture outside of my office, but it is a beautiful winter wonderland.
Oh, see, there you go.
The snow.
Bruce, I don't have a headset.
We're
so-
wondering what
No,
winter
yeah,
looks
we're
like
not
here.
two brains in one headset, but pretty close here. Right?
We're wondering what
share the same brain.
we're
No,
wondering what the holidays look like here. To us, it looks more like the original holiday here, warm and deserty.
God bless us once
Well-
and all.
It is definitely winter here in New England today, and we are expected to actually get snow 3 of the next 4 days as we
Wow.
lead up to
That's
Christmas.
awesome.
So it should be great.
So let me ask you guys all the question: is it winter? Is the hotel industry heading into winter in the coming year, or is it still going to be spring and happy days are here at last?
Well, I think we had an Indian summer in 2017.
There you go.
Performed probably better than everybody else anticipated. So it will be hard to repeat that. But I certainly believe that soft landing or landing on the pillow top mattress sounds perfect to me. And we don't see any big negative drops. Of course, external economic effects have sent the industry down each of the last 3 cycles, but you can't really predict those. So
No, you can't.
Bru-
It-
Bruce,
hopeful.
Bruce, for those who are listening in who didn't have the pleasure of actually listening onto our show, will you just give a little background about yourself, because you're definitely handing out
And
a
your
lot of
company,
information
please.
and your company and your website, please?
Sure. So Lodging Econometrics is a hospitality real estate research company based in New Hampshire. We're a family-owned business. We track hotel real estate, new construction, renovation, and conversion projects all over the world, as well as maintaining a database of every open and operating hotel across the world. We've just actually launched new software through our website, lodgingeconometrics.com. We're refreshing online databases for our clients every 7 days. And I had pulled up a number of different things about California that revealed some interesting trends, if you will.
This is the end of the year. Let's talk trends. Yeah.
Yeah, just in the last 30 days, there's been 26 new hotels announced in the state of California for new
Yeah.
construction projects,
Phenomenal.
including some notable ones, including a new Vibe Hotel in Los Angeles,
Nice.
in Le Meridian in Garden Grove, Newport Beach, and
It's a
quite
little bit
few,
different.
Yeah, there's a little difference
There's a
in
little
Garden
difference.
Grove and that.
Project. Quite
Just
a
a
few
tad.
select service projects, including 3 new Home 2 Suites by Hilton, which is a very, very popular brand, and the number 2 largest pipeline in the country, only behind Holiday Inn Express. So,
So the obvious question is why? Why all this new construction? Is it happy days are coming here?
It's sunshine. It's rainbows. It's California.
It's never ending.
We've actually had nearly 8 years in a row. Every month, the operating performance has been better for nearly a total of stringing 8 years together by month. So that has really buoyed investors. Additionally, it's still a little less expensive to build a hotel than it is to buy one today because that operating performance has been so good. Historically, high valuations on hotels do exist, and most of the transactions that we see today are just really buying bond-like investments or just a very shallow buy, renovate, reposition story. But we have seen some mergers and acquisitions also. As we saw just this week, Choice Hotels put some of their stock price growth power to work and are buying Woodspring Suites. We also have seen in the last 2 weeks, Interstate Hotels announced they're going to buy 82 management contracts from Interstate Hotels. So it's a robust market right now, and I think any of the large franchise companies, whether that be Hilton, IHG, or Marriott, they're all evaluating acquisitions as we speak because Marriott's stock's been up almost 60% since the Starwood acquisition closed.
We're not a stock picking show, but happy days.
Gentlemen, just a bit of housekeeping. For those who are watching us on OC Talk Radio's Facebook page or YouTube channel, I'm not sure about the YouTube, but on Facebook, you may not be listening to our call-in.
No, it's on.
Can they hear their call-in?
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
this is the real radio here. I like the way Craig described it. It's not quite MSNBC, but it's not college radio. It's somewhere in between.
I wanted to double check to make sure that they're not missing all these nuggets from Bruce.
No, he's on.
So they are. Okay, all right. So Bruce, I have a question for you. We just had a signing of a tax reform bill today.
Oh.
Was it? You have to go down the political.
Come on.
No. I'm not. I'm
saying no.
I'm not going political on this. But is there going to be any impact on the hotel industry as a result of at least what we know today from this? Because it's a major reform or bill, if you whatever.
It's not
you
reform.
Want to call it.
It's a cut.
Okay.
But particularly, I would think the pass-through stuff where they're going to pass through for limited partnerships and real estate development.
Let me ask Bruce. I want to know from his perspective because God knows he's got a very good handle on this. Anybody who's not using Logic Econometrics, they need to check it out because it's an amazing resource that everybody should be aware of. And let's give the website one more time, Bruce, if you don't mind.
Yeah, certainly. LodgingEconometrics.com, and that's ECONOMETRICS.
Thank you. So with that, specific to the nation, but also maybe you can expand on it at the end, maybe regarding California.
Sure. So it is anticipated. I think many business owners are anticipating that this tax reform package is going to be very beneficial. As much as potentially a 12% decrease in potential tax impact. But also, as I've heard today, this is a residential and a commercial thing. A lot of people are trying to pay their property taxes ahead now because there's an impact in being able to do that in 2017.
Because there's a cap on how much you can deduct in these high-income, high-tax states like California here, right? So why not do it this year in New York? Yeah.
So actually, it makes for an interesting end of year situation, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And if you're an owner and you were planning for that inevitability, you probably have a good amount of cash on hand because your hotels have done pretty well.
Right.
So you're able to probably capture that impact.
Can I give you one quick?
So this could actually cause an interesting situation to happen in the remaining days of 2017, right? In terms of any transactions that are in flux right now or things that are up in the air, this may actually cause an incentive to basically move them forward.
Comment on that?
It very well could be, and I think that several of the corporations out there in the lodging industry are looking aggressively
Ryan's
at
looking
trying to
volume.
lock in investments as fast as they possibly can, because, you know, I saw a stat that in the first year of the Obama presidency versus the first year of the Trump presidency, the market actually went up 4 points more under Obama than it did up under
Really?
Trump. But
Never heard that.
I don't think anybody expected a 25% rise this year.
No.
And
Right.
that has to be somewhat of a
Because no matter who
high
became president,
stand
even if
on much longer.
even if you like Trump or don't like Trump, and I don't like Trump, but if you did either one, this
politics
market's had
out
a
of my show,
long
yeah.
run. People have expected it to run out of steam for some time. It's his longest.
But it raises the important point. It's always a matter of perspective, right? It's a matter of expectations.
Yeah.
So if your expectations were at a certain level and what happens exceeds your expectations,
It's a
then
miracle.
there's a euphoria that comes along that benefits the market.
Right.
Right. So you're right. I mean, in case of Bruce, he's looking at numbers, he's doing comparisons, right? But I think Steve, you had something you wanted to say about this too, right?
Well, I'm glad it actually did pass before the end of the year. I think it's going to have a benefit for the entire country. I think it's been great. I mean, you look at today, you see companies that are actually putting money back into infrastructure. I mean, I think it was Boeing today that announced that they're going to do $300 million back into infrastructure as well as training.
AT&T, I think.
AT&T, and those are large companies. The reason why I bring up Boeing is those are large customers that affect the hotel industry.
And actually, a lot of
but others like GE have said all they're going to do is buy back their stock and give out more dividends.
Right. And so
Well, and GE also only pays about 2% of their profits in taxes. They've got really good attorneys.
The reality is, though, gentlemen, I think it's going to be a combination of both, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because when you have that kind of money available, yes, you're going to basically reward your shareholders, but you're also going to have a little bit more flexibility to do stuff. Now, it might not be to the extent that is predicted, and we will find out what happens come 2018 since we're talking on this. But I think the reality is that you will be making business decisions that you may have not made before.
Or the third option, which you already hinted at before, will they take that newfound cash and rather than invest it in new businesses, new factories or whatever, or just pump up their stock and give back more dividends or buy it? Will they merge? Will they buy up each other?
But I think here's where the rubber
Mergers
meets.
and acquisitions always happen.
Right. Here's where it's
part of the
not
lifeblood.
going to.
But is it going to encourage it because now I got extra cash? I'm going to buy up more. We're seeing it in the media space. Disney buying Fox. Somebody buying
Fox
Warner
sucks,
buying.
so
Yeah, but
what do
those
you
were.
want?
Those-
You
but
mentioned
those
another
were-
merger here early.
those were
Somebody
in play-
buying.
Those were in play before.
Okay, but I suspect you're going to see a lot more mergers because when you got newfound cash, there aren't a lot of. You're in the hotel industry. You're seeing an upsurge in interest, but across the economy, it's still slow demand. Baby boomers are aging. Millennials aren't buying. So I don't think they're going to open up new factories until they see more demand.
When your expectations are low,
Yeah.
any move in the right direction is regarded as a major move. Right?
Well, but I think the expectations are high right now.
But I think that's where the spin starts to happen, right? I mean, if you're really a student of history and you're looking at stuff in terms of, and Bruce can speak to this probably better than any of us in this room, where you're looking at the stuff in terms of what has happened, where we have had similar situations. And then you start looking at the numbers, and you start looking at what you are paying out in order to achieve those gains, right? In the long run, which is where the rubber meets the road,
Right.
in the long run, is it a positive move? It is a strategic move. Yes, in the short term, absolutely. The fact that this has happened before the end of the year, I don't think anybody can argue that it's going to move things to happen prior
In a
to the
direction,
thing. Yeah,
absolutely.
But I think it misses one fundamental I never hear anybody talk about this. We've talked about it a couple times on shows here. You're going to give corporations more money, and the assumption is they're going to invest that to make more money. Not if there's no demand. And baby boomers are past their prime spending years.
Well,
they're spending less.
But baby boomers like yourself are not the only people out there.
And
with
millennials aren't
Give
buying.
Steve the floor.
Yeah, but
he's going to make a really.
They're
good
not buying
point right
houses.
now.
They're not forming families.
Yes,
they're not.
they are.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
No, but I think that one of the things, and again, I'm just using Boeing because this came out today and it's fresh news.
Got to talk in
is,
the mic.
Boeing, which came out today and it's fresh news, is $100 million of the money that they're going to be getting back. They're going to be investing into the employees to train them because our citizens of the United States have gotten lazy over the past 20 years. And we are not up to the educational levels of what we need to be, especially in technology. And Boeing is seeing that. And for us to be able to compete with countries all over the world, especially in technology, and they're in aerospace, so they're even higher up, they need to invest in these employees so that we can give them the education they need so that we can be back to where we were back in 100 years ago, or 50 years ago.
Let me just say one thing first, right? This is an amazing show right now. What we're talking about right now and the depth of this conversation, anybody who's not paying attention to this show right now should be. Okay, so I'm going to say again, OC Talk Radio. Oh no, it's not us. It's definitely not us. It's our guests. We ride on the shoulders of our guests, right? Bruce included, right?
Yeah, Bruce mainly.
Mainly Bruce. Everybody else is.
Yeah,
Bruce brought this up.
Yeah, Bruce is all your fault. You brought it all.
We got serious. We stopped drinking when you were on, Bruce. Yeah.
Hey, Bruce. I want to thank you. You're coming out to do a special spot, and you're a sponsor again for the California Lodging Investment Conference, and you've got a special presentation coming up, and I'm really thankful about the California hotel market and trends and construction and numerous other things. And both Glenn and Bruce are going to be traveling from Germany to be at Click next year.
Amazing.
So what do you think about the California market, Bruce?
Well, I feel really positive about the California market. I think in terms of the pipeline, it continues to take a larger share. Currently at about 9% of the total rooms in the pipeline are in the state of California. That continues to grow, comparing to Texas with 13. It is number 2 in the country. And I just want to throw one topper on what you guys said about baby boomers. You know, baby boomers might not be spending at the rate in some industry, but one thing they are spending on is travel.
Absolutely.
That's for sure.
And experience.
So where they do spend, that's an area they do still spend it. We have a question in the back.
The hotel industry has benefited tremendously from really demand running at almost 3.5% growth year over year, and I do believe the baby boomers are a part of that fuel.
Got a question in the back, and we're trying to get another guest on here too, and I want Ryan to ask. Ryan hasn't said one word the whole show here.
Well, you guys told me I was quiet, so then since that time I've been talking. So I'll take this opportunity to ask one more question. With regard to California market, what are your thoughts on the downtown lodging market right now with the supply that we currently have and the demand that is needed?
And when you say downtown, you're space.
Downtown Los Angeles, I apologize.
Bruce, that's the question to you.
Downtown Los Angeles has really got a new kind of opportunity available to it. We're seeing all kinds of new demand in terms of residential growth, in terms of retail growth, in terms of hospitality, always follows that. It really is a result of LA Live being such a tremendous success and now building another ring around it, if you will, of new hotels, new retail, and residential. So that's an exciting market to follow. It is obviously quite a few new luxury hotels in Los Angeles, of course, the Intercontinental in downtown, the new Hotel Indigo in downtown, and, of course, new Waldorf in Beverly Hills, which is also really, really quite exciting.
Amazing properties, actually, and very well positioned as a what do you call, like an infill project? Awesome. Anybody who hasn't been to the Waldorf should go to the Waldorf and check it out. Same thing with the Indigo.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, Intercontinental, the Indigo.
Gentlemen, happy holidays. Thank you so much.
Ryan's got a question for you before you leave here. Ryan's got to say something here.
From Ryan.
So, Paul, just curious, when you're talking about the downtown market, I'm coming from a title company. We have a lot of clients that fall in and out of escrow all the time, and we've seen a couple trends in that area, especially with the construction in the world of loss of priorities and mechanics liens coming up. To your knowledge, have you seen the construction coming through easily for developers, or are you finding them to have a lot of red tape and being coming up against city and lien issues?
Well, I think cities are all looking
for
tax revenue, so I think it is, number one, it's a desirable development outcome for a city. Number two, developers are challenged with their capital stack, but that is not new information. That has been the case. I think in terms of the capital stack today, I think there's a lot of equity chasing the hotel business today, and I think that equity continues to head into new construction. So I feel like, you know, new construction has not topped off either by projects or by number of rooms, and I still see a couple good years of construction and new activity. And it's really the renaissance of select service in an urban center. You look at things like courtyards and residence inns. 20 years ago, you never would have seen that be the second project at LA Live.
Live, yeah.
Obviously,
Oh, you're right.
Courtyard residence inn has been a smashing success.
Some people would argue that it's past due, right, Bruce? I mean, in the LA market.
Oh, absolutely.
Without a doubt.
100%.
Without a doubt.
So we're seeing a lot of shared site developments like that across the country, whether they're happening in the same building in an urban center or side-by-side buildings in suburban areas. That shared site type of thing with the residence inn courtyard being a very good example at LA Live is really a very popular outcome today and is
Can I say
diverse enough in its offerings to really meet a lot of different demand generators.
Can I just add one other element? And it's more speaking to the spirit, the soul that I have in terms of revitalizations of certain things like areas, neighborhoods, and so forth, is that there's the added benefit advantage that we don't usually talk about when we're talking about stuff like this. It's the readaptive reuse of certain buildings. It's the repurposing of certain centers, right? Bringing life back to these things that basically at one point acted in a very important manner in terms of an economy or a market or, you know, sort of as just a sort of a hub for activity. And we're seeing that happening in places that have for a very long time just laid barren.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, the classic case is Detroit, right? And you're seeing projects.
Don't pick on my city now.
No, I'm not picking on your city. In fact, last time I was at the Hospitality Design at the HD conference, there was conversations about readaptive reuse of these buildings that are historically listed. That I think there's been an evolution and a sophistication rise. It's always been a leader, I think, the hospitality industry, right? And not maybe in the overall hospitality industry, but there's always been
Boston, Bruce's backyard.
Right, there's
the
been
old Boston
the
Police
Seaport in
Department
Boston.
jail.
There's always been there's always
also
been
in
people that have been
downtown
willing.
Chicago, you have
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the Palmer House in Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, places that are iconic, and we keep building new stuff, but it seems like there's been a re-emergence of appreciation for some of these iconic elements, buildings that have things. I mean, there was one building that was the old firehouse at Detroit that's been revitalized as a hotel. And this just enriches that area, plus becomes an economic engine.
Well, we got to enrich our show by paying the bills and playing some of our sponsor ads.
Thank you,
so.
Bruce.
Hey, Bruce, thank you.
Merry
We'll see
Christmas,
you in
Bruce.
March. Merry Christmas, my friend.
Happy
Thank you.
holidays.
See you, Bruce.
To all of you.
Happy New Year, my friend.
All right, let's take advantage of this and take a break, and we'll come back with even more guests and more surprises right after this word from our sponsor.
From Eureka to San Diego. To harness the knowledge of our industry leaders, support our community, and educate emerging talent. Click brings together lodging professionals from California and beyond for one day of learning, professional development, and networking. If you are an owner, operator, investor, broker, developer, lender, management company, brand, or professional services provider, you should plan on attending Click 2 on March 8th, 2018 at the Hilton Irvine, Orange County Airport. We invite you to go check out the California Lodging Investment Conference website at cliconference.com for the latest details and sponsorship opportunities. Early registration now open, and as a listener of the Checkout California radio show, please make sure to use our exclusive discount code of CheckoutCA when registering for this one-of-a-kind California hospitality event that sold out in its very first year.
We had a really heated discussion during
That got pretty serious there. Wow. That was
No. You know what I love about this is it's very libated conversation, right? But
real.
Libated.
Libated.
Not liberal, not, you know, I'm just
Liberated.
saying it's libated conversation, right? So maybe that's a party. Maybe instead of
You know what? I
conservative
need
and
some more
liberal, we
tequila
just have a
here.
libated
I'm
party.
gonna be like
Libated. That is going to be
Would-
the
would
that is
you-
gonna,
would-
that is going to be my word of the day for sure.
I would
Yeah.
register as a libated voter.
Oh, absolutely. Libated sounds
Glenn
good to me.
Hausman, we're calling you now.
So
Yes.
Glenn, first thing you want to know is you will be a registered voter for the libated party. We just formed a new party right here.
As
right?
we're calling Glenn, I want you to get some of your other guests involved. You had this gentleman
we
here
already
said
have
one
5
word.
Ryan Huntsman.
He said one word, and Ryan said one word, and they were both good ones. But now you're crowding them out. So let's get them in the show here.
I'm not crowding anybody out. We're the hosts.
Yes, you do exactly.
Yes, we pay the bills. You know.
What do you? Well, I'd love everybody to go around the room. I'll call on Glenn and tell me what you think you see coming in 2018. Give me the one word. Or the one phrase.
Before we go there, no. Hold on a second, guys. We're in the middle of a very cool discussion regarding Los Angeles.
Yes.
And downtown, and we are a California Checkout California show,
yes,
right?
we are.
So let's finish this conversation.
So let's talk about downtown LA being
we were talking
undervalued.
about undervalued. The fact that it is not driven by speculation only, but actually by demand that has not been met for so long and now is actually being finally addressed. And we're talking about the actual value in buildings that are historically listed, where people would run for the hills when you say historical designation. In fact, there is value, especially if you're a sophisticated developer, right? Okay, so let's talk about that. What is the nature of the market in LA? Is it currently saturated? Is the demand still there?
I think there's...
Lean into the mic.
I think the demand is absolutely there. As I said earlier, I think it's the most undervalued downtown in the whole country. Being the second largest city in America, this LA used to be a ghost town after 5 o'clock 10 years ago.
Exactly.
You know, and I think LA Live
7 and 5 years ago,
is the spark that's going to light the fire under downtown LA.
You know what
surrounding.
You know what I think is fascinating with downtown LA, especially now. I don't know how long it will last, but you have a duality of reality in downtown LA. Right. You have these LA Live projects. You have these condos that are almost out of reach for most people, right? And at the same time, you have homeless.
4 of them.
Right? And it's amazing. It almost reminds me of New York prior to the gentrification of certain areas.
Without the markets or the neighborhoods.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And definitely without the price point of New York at this point, right? But it's amazing. It's a demand that has never been addressed. I think we just built out away from LA, and we now have a hunger as a community, as a society, I think as a nation, to have more of a balance where you're living and you're working and you have a sort of a center and an anchor to your life. And if you can do it to its local, Paul says it all the time. All news is what, Paul?
All news is local.
Right.
All politics is local.
I thought he was going to say all news was bullshit.
All news is fake.
No,
I learned a new word
He
this
cannot
year.
get people to buy into airtime if he's pitching as all news is bullshit.
Hey, I think we got Glenn Hausman on the phone.
Hey, Glenn.
Are you there?
Hey, Glenn.
Hey, Glenn, I have to warn you, this veers wildly between serious and inebriated, so I don't know which way it's going to go
so
here.
it's perfect for you, Glenn, actually.
Happy
Cheers.
Hanukkah. How are you, brother?
Hey, where are you out these days?
First of all, I want to say that this is a fake news operation. I'm offended.
That's right.
Cut him off. He's had too much airtime.
It's faux news. We make it up. No doubt.
That's right.
If I have to deal with Glenn, I need another pour of tequila.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm really sad that I'm on the East Coast and sober. You guys just after not even 1 o'clock there yet.
I know.
You guys have time. And
We got plenty of time.
Hey, and it's 75 degrees here now, too.
So how about next year, Glenn, in studio?
That sounds like a great idea. Well, I'm looking forward to getting out there in March so we can do some stuff together in the warmer West Coast.
Why? What's going on in March?
What's March? There's nothing happening in March. It's a terrible time of the year to visit.
Shameless promotion.
No plugs.
Investment conference that I know I'm excited to be at.
A conference? What conference is that?
Oh, please.
Yeah.
Hey,
conference.com.
let me see if I can steer this back
Wait,
towards something.
hold on, Paul. So, if people that are listening to you that follow you religiously,
How much is Rad had
which
here?
are we're a lot. This coming from an Irishman, I will take with pride.
Goodness.
Okay, for people who follow you religiously, which we know people follow Glenn religiously, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's like the Messiah of hospitality, right?
Yeah.
Number one podcast in the industry.
Did you hear that? Messiah of hospitality, Glenn. I think you need to coin that phrase.
That should be on your holiday cards.
Okay, so
Happy Hanukkah to everybody.
Yeah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
So what is this conference and what are you going to be doing in it?
California Lodging Investment Conference is, you know what I think is really cool about it? California's the 5th largest economy if you took it out of the United States and the whole world, and I know you guys definitely want to take it out of the United States.
Yes, we do.
Secede? Oh, man. Yeah, okay.
Please.
It's focusing on just this market, which is so incredible, except perhaps maybe Mr. Craig Sullivan at the California Lodging Investment Conference. Again, I want to be at this. I get to see Brad Gontos live in person.
Love you too, brother.
I can't wait.
So and if people want to register again with Glenn has a promo code too, Greg, right?
No vacancy.
Vacancy.
And if you are not listening to the No Vacancy podcast, why not? It is definitely the #1 podcast in the industry.
The Messiah of Hospitality.
The Messiah of Hospitality. You should.
We all learned that
listening
today.
to that.
We
show
learned that in
every day.
space. All right.
Yeah, we learned that.
Rad just did a show with him.
The
So,
Messiah of
So
Hospitality.
now that we've hugged each other and given everybody good plugs here, give us some info.
Mazel tov.
No, we don't want the info now. It's just about self-promotion. Okay.
You know how I know the show is really great? Because the in-studio guests are shaking their heads.
They're like, oh my God, why did I come? All right, we've asked everybody. We got to ask you, what do you see coming ahead here? What's 2018 going to look? 2018, what's that going to look like? Then everybody's going to ask you a question. Go ahead.
All right, so are we talking to me now?
Yes.
'Cause I don't know. I can't see you.
You're on the air.
You're on the hot seat. What's coming in 2018? And then everybody in the room gets to ask you a question. Go ahead.
All right, what's coming in 2018? I think 2018 is going to be a time when we really need to readjust the way we're thinking about the hospitality industry. There are, uncomfortable seas ahead. No matter how great you think it is right now, I want to encourage everybody to do a quick check. You're not as awesome as you think you are, and try to figure out the best ways to survive as the market kind of changes on.
Love it. All right, questions on that one.
Yeah.
The Messiah.
So we just heard how wonderful it is.
Mazel tov.
Bruce Ford was on saying happy days are still here at last. Good times ahead. More projects coming. Record numbers, record things. And you're saying, let's temper it with a little reality here.
I would say that both the inimitable Mr.
No,
Bruce
he's not
Ford
gonna
and
contradict
myself are
Bruce.
both correct.
Not
He's
gonna.
looking at his segment, and in that particular category, yes. I'm looking at it industry-wide. I think when you're looking at our ability to keep pushing rate, it's going to become more challenging. I think things like Airbnb become a lot more viable to the average consumer. And I think there are other external pressures, including a 3.9% drop in travel to the U.S. That should start to concern people in their ability to make profits in the hospitality industry at such robust levels that we've been doing for the last few years.
Glenn, let me ask you a question. I asked actually Mr. Larry Broughton, who was on the show this week earlier, and that was in relevance to Airbnb. I said that what I'm seeing is actually Airbnb almost being used like a flag. What do you think about that?
You mean like a red flag? They're waving at
no,
it?
where there may be some serious money going into actually utilizing Airbnb as a business model, but backing it almost with the traditional sense of what hospitality industry has done.
Well, I think there's something that's kind of true to that. I think in the end, all the hospitality companies will probably look a lot more alike. Traditional hotel companies.
No, come on. We've been hearing it's all going to be unique and designed to the space.
They're all unique in exactly the same way.
I love that.
Hey, it's like the identity. We may lose the Apple sponsorship for the show. Oh wait,
with that.
We don't have one. Okay, so it's like saying I'm an Apple phone user, therefore I am unique, even though I look like every other person.
And Ryan, I'm good.
We're all unique in the same way.
See what you're missing by not being in this room.
Oh my goodness! All right, so let's go around and ask some questions here, Ryan and others.
Actually, I'm going to ask one first. Glenn, is your wife ready to bounce you out of the house? You've been home for a couple of weeks now. I mean,
what does that have to do with it?
Hey, now I thought.
I've actually moved my my radio station to a van down by the river.
All right, now we know where you're broadcasting.
Is this the one with the Sealy mattress in it?
Listen, I'm hanging out. I'm in the middle of the desert by the river. I've got my tinfoil hat on. I'm broadcasting craziness. Not like you're fake news, but No.
Of course not.
We just make it up. That's all.
That's very Messiah of you. Just don't try to walk on the water.
Serious questions around the room. Ryan, Steve, give us some questions. Sadi, right?
I'll let the ladies start on the other side.
The ladies. Oh, ouch. Ouch.
Now it's a show.
Now it's a show.
It sounds like wrestling now.
All right, ladies.
I don't believe I have a question. I have a point to make, especially with regards to the California hospitality.
Yes.
As I see the dollar getting stronger, I think Northern California, Bay Area, is going to start to get weaker.
Really? Okay. Because of the strength of the dollar, but which means that the tourists aren't going to come?
Less foreign money coming in.
Yeah.
Because San Francisco does well when the dollar's weak.
Right. Yeah.
You get all the Asian countries migrating to San
Interesting, yes.
When the exchange rate changes, the numbers go down, yeah.
Then it's more of a national economy.
Right.
That's why Southern California is going to fare well. because the rest of the country's doing well. Everyone comes to Disneyland, Legoland.
Oh.
And
I love it.
We do better,
Good
they do
point.
worse. That's a
Good
hell of a.
point.
I've never heard that before.
Very interesting.
So, and yet Trump's whole thing is he's been railing against the weakness of the dollar, and you're saying to a certain degree the dollar helps us provide
But when he does-
foreign investment here,
Right.
foreign travel, foreign
Right.
stuff.
And with the things going on in Anaheim with Star Wars in the
Yeah.
next
Star
2
Wars
years,
Park, look at that.
I mean, Anaheim is just buzzing.
Hey,
Well, and
Glenn
the
and
whole-
I are going down to the Star Wars Hotel in Orlando,
All right.
so we're going to do the cross play down there.
So,
Check it
so,
out.
so what? Chewbacca and Princess Leia, or what?
Princess
well, as
who?
long as he's Princess Leia, that's good.
Well, you're definitely Chewbacca.
All right, so that's a hell of a top that one, Ryan. You got to come up with a better one. That was a hell of a
That's
point
Steve.
here. That was a hell of a
That's
point.
Ryan.
All right,
Ryan.
I'm sorry.
You know, I do have a question for you. I'm sitting in front of a little blurb here. It's talking about a national trend, but it's commenting on
But
how
it says you're under
of
arrest.
all the different types of properties, looking at retail, looking at industrial, office, warehouse versus hotel, it's stating that the only major property type to have growth last month in November was hospitality.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm curious. Is that a trend that you could see continuing? You know, apartments have been just everybody's
Everywhere.
baby.
Well,
People
because
are-
they all
Everybody's favorite child.
built
Wow.
single family homes, and there was never enough apartments in any of these desirable destinations.
And you wouldn't believe what we're seeing. With a high volume of transactions, we're seeing some of these apartment buildings trade at 3 caps.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's insane.
It's nuts.
How does that pencil out? How does that
It's
pencil out in the long
demand
run?
and supply. There's not enough supply.
I'm sure you can find a CD out there somewhere whose sinks aren't going to be clogged at midnight on a weekend. I just can't wrap my head around
And
that.
so, and I have to add to the question: have we created a bubble here in Southern California of too much multifamily? We raced to fill a gap. We needed more
That's
housing
another
for the
show.
people moving
This is
in.
hospitality.
Well, it almost
Travel
gets
and
back to
tourism.
your original
We're
point
not
of
talking about multifamily.
well, it gets back to that original point of our people buying houses.
Yes.
Millennials are
No,
spending
they're
money
not.
on experiences,
Right.
Yes.
not on investments, the way our parents taught us to.
But you know
Yes,
what we
exactly.
forget
Thank
about
you.
we forget about millennials. Okay,
I'd like to forget about that.
Hilton has it. Marriott has it. Hyatt has it.
I had
money.
an opportunity to teach a class on hotel design at the Art Institute last quarter.
If you don't work,
Okay.
you don't have money.
We talk. Yeah, no,
That's
you don't
the
work.
truth.
You don't
It's real
have money,
simple.
right?
Unless your mom and dad.
But what
You just explained why they're not buying anything.
Yeah.
But what they
Living at home.
what people
Glenn, jump in here. They're not going to let
Hold
you
on,
in
hold on a
unless
second.
you.
Yeah,
If
and
you-
Rad's going to make his point here.
if you don't spend money,
Go ahead.
if you don't spend money, what is it that you spend the money on is as important as the generation you're talking about.
I'm not telling you.
Where you choose.
So I'm not asking you. Okay, I don't want to know what you spend your money on. Okay, all I know is there's
Strange
way too
thing.
many $1 bills in your wallet. Right?
Oh,
Oh no! It's 5s, 10s, and 20s.
Oh, five.
Wow.
It's
It's only 1
higher end.
o'clock.
Okay.
he goes to the good clubs.
Ones were the 70s.
All right,
Okay?
but here's the thing, okay? When you start looking at every generation, and by the way, it's not just millennials and baby boomers. There's multiple categories within that. Gen Xers that are sort of lost, but they're really a bridge generation. How many people in this room are Gen Xers?
Right
I'm a Gen X.
Not me.
Get out.
Right. Yeah,
Get
well,
out.
You, guys, you and Paul are
old.
anomalies,
I'm old.
okay?
What can I
But
say?
there's a Star Trek reference for you. But the thing about this is that what you
But I might
spend
see
money on,
retirement,
what
you
is your
won't.
discretionary income being spent on? Okay, it depends on where you are in your life cycle. If you're having kids, then you're spending it on different things. If you're having, your education, if you're just having kids, it's different. What your buying habits are.
But that's
are
the
different.
traditional argument, and I disagree. I
It's
think
not- it's
millennials have changed the buying pattern. I don't think everybody's waiting for them to get.
In a way, Paul,
get families
in a-
and get
in a
on
way-
it and start buying
in a
stuff.
way, in a way, but food, shelter,
Let Steve answer
it
that.
Ain't
goes-
gonna
is
happen.
still part of that
Let Steve
equation.
answer that.
It
Go ahead,
goes,
Steve.
it goes back to what I said before. You have to work to make money,
Yeah.
and they're not working and getting careers and doing. I mean, they're going to college. They're spending extra time in college. They're staying at their families.
Yeah.
They're not looking. I mean, when I got out of school, I wanted to make money right away,
Right.
buy a house, get things, and get going.
Well,
and the millennials are.
look at-
I'll take my
Delaying.
time.
But look at
I'll
when
get my driver's license when I
Yeah.
get it. I'll get my college
That's
education in
true.
6 years, 8
Delaying
years. I'll
everything.
go live with my parents till I'm 33
Yeah.
years
But, see,
old.
but when you
I'm not sure I
graduated,
agree with that.
at
I
most
think
you had is a
you got part of that
pager.
generation
Now
still
there's
has
Okay,
the
Craig,
internet
hold on.
monthly cost. There's a phone monthly cost. So they're spending their money elsewhere, and for them, it's not a priority to own a home.
Right. So it's what their
Right.
your
I agree with
priorities
that.
are.
If it's if they have
Again,
$10,000,
it's
they're going to
the
spend it on.
experience.
Look, I agree with you, Steve.
I
but
want a micro apartment, and I want a concierge.
So I can
and
have
I
the
want a rooftop
256
bar and movies
iPhone
on
10.
Wednesday
Right.
night.
So it's
So,
the
yeah.
package of demands is different. I agree with Steve. Okay,
To a degree.
This is the general melee about millennials.
Yeah.
The problem is, I have two people that are working in my office, right? That are not even like, I think they're younger than even millennials, right? And basically, their drive is there. What motivates them is different.
Right, absolutely.
What you and
Totally.
I were motivated by is different. They're in a way, to be honest, and I've said this already to a couple of people this week. Their motivation is where we are at a point in our lives where we understand the importance of a balance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're negotiating more free time than higher salary.
Right.
Okay, in a way, they
Quality
are
of life over quantity.
They are ahead of us in a shorter period of time in realizing sort of the balance in life, but at the same time, they also maybe not have the drive in terms of time span that we had.
Can I tell you what I see?
You got anything to say this?
It's an interesting thing that's a nuance that doesn't really get covered.
Well, Glenn, Glenn, react to that. Are millennials into
Glenn is
consumption?
still on the air.
Oh, wow, I thought Glenn took a nap.
He did.
If millennials
Sorry,
live at
Glenn.
home long enough, then it'll just switch around, and it'll be their parents living with them as opposed to
Yeah.
It happens to all of us, my
Love
friend.
you, brother.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But have millennials changed their consumption patterns of Americans? Are they just delaying it? Are they going to consume the same way we did, or are they changing
I
it?
believe they're changing.
I think there's an absolute fundamental shift in what's happening in society.
That's the reality of life, my friend.
I see it with my kids.
Inescapable.
Millennials, my guys are 13 years old right now. I have twin boys, and they had everything. They really have everything because everything is digital, everything or extremely cheap or just free. Right. So we sat them down. What do you want for Hanukkah? I don't know. They have everything. They don't need everything. I'm not a wealthy guy. They don't have a lot of stuff. We don't have rooms full of belongings.
Right.
They're just satisfied, happy kids that want to play video games, design stuff, and go out and have experiences like their millennial counterparts.
So it's not about curating for them, right?
It's not about consumption. That's what you guys are missing. I don't think they want to consume like we did.
So how does an economy based on consumption deal with it incoming expenditure base that they basically...
We don't even realize it, but we're already seeing the shift. We're changing dramatically to a service economy, which is why 1 in 9 jobs now are directly tethered to the travel and hospitality industry here in the United States. Wow. Then you see what's happening with retail. Everybody's buying stuff online, and retail's going down. You see what's happening with that office sector that you were talking about. Now WeWork and Serendipity Labs and these co-working facilities are all big because we're changing the way that we're working.
Robotic manufacturing. You're not going to be able to come out of high school and make a middle-class wage with a high school education. Right.
Well, we're going to be screwed because in 50 years, the robots are going to be driving all the cars, doing all the trucks, flying all the airplanes, doing all that stuff, and I think we've got a big problem ahead when it comes to that. But that's probably not the way we want to go the show at the end of the year.
All right. So a look ahead, is it good news or bad news? You were kind of tempered again here. Good news or bad news for 2018 nationwide and then in California? Good news or bad news?
I would say it's good news, but you can't take that good news without paying close attention and reevaluating everything that you're doing. Don't take it for granted because the good times are going to end and it's going to be more challenging. But you can be a big winner if you adjust and you pay attention and you put some focus and effort in and don't go on autopilot.
And how many people in the industries, let's bring it back, how many people in the industry are poised to do that, Glenn, from your experience? You have a vantage point.
There's one guy in Kansas City that's got his act together. Everybody else has got it together.
Let's get him on the show. Let's talk to that guy.
Kansas City, at least you could have gone with Bakersfield.
Yeah, but in Kansas City, they got good barbecue. So.
They do.
Yeah, good barbecue, good steaks. Absolutely.
So I know that a couple of the gentlemen in the studio actually probably had a couple of questions for you.
And then
Greg,
we'll wrap up with him.
For Glenn?
I already did.
He gave his.
Okay.
Yeah, I think everybody went around the room.
Gentlemen, Steve?
I think we went around the room. Any more questions for Glenn before we let him go?
Happy Hanukkah, buddy.
Happy Hanukkah.
Glenn, thank you for being part of the show today. Thank
See you in March.
for being part of Click.
The Messiah of hospitality, my friend.
And we look forward to having you back in the 2018 to look into that crystal ball and give us more of your prognosticating skills here.
Wow.
Next year you should be out here. You should sit in the studio with us, okay?
all about the rise of the dollar and how it's affecting tourism. By coincidence, on the No Vacancy podcast I just released, I speak to the CEO of U.S. Travel, Dow. We talk exactly about this issue.
Never heard that before. So you're
travel. Is it a switch of the? Is it the change of the dollar around the world that's causing a slump in travel? So you should really tune into that. And I'll speak to
just who the traveler is.
So this is
is.
why I call him
the Messiah.
This is why I call him the Messiah of hospitality, because he had no clue that we're going to cover this in this show, and yet he was already ready and had somebody already on a show on a podcast. So again,
he led us to the promised land.
He always does. He shepherds us every day.
Hey, Glenn, when you do go to Click in March, we will make sure your name tag says Messiah.
Follow him.
He had no clue this was going to happen to him today, right?
Yeah.
So
we got others to follow. So thanks much.
Hold on a second.
Come on.
Greg's got a question.
Glenn, I've got your coincidence for you. It was a year ago today that I was on the No Vacancy podcast for the first time.
Wow.
Is this true, Messiah?
Thank you very much, Messiah.
And you led him to do his own show. There you go.
It's all on you, Glenn. You and Rad.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Glenn, before you go, give
Oh,
people,
come on. You want
hold
to keep
on,
dragging this
hold on,
out. Oh,
hold
my
on.
goodness.
I want to give him a shout out. Give people the website to get hold of No Vacancy.
NoVacancyNews.com, NoVacancyNews.com. Even Ryan Guntos, I got an interview with him. Check it out, NoVacancyNews.com.
And I think
Thank
you
you,
should
my
do should do a new podcast in the new year called No Vacancy, because bacon's real popular. So think about
Not
that.
kosher. Sorry.
That's true.
Well, I'm doing one on the news. I'm calling it No Vacancy.
Vacancy. There you go. I like that one too. Thanks for
Thank you,
being
my
with
friend.
us.
Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you, Glenn. Happy Hanukkah.
All right, we're going to take one more quick break on this extended holiday cruise here, so stick with us. I know. Hang on. Let's get this one up.
From Eureka to San Diego and Malibu to Bakersfield, the California Lodging Investment Conference, CLIC, is one of a kind, focusing exclusively on our Golden States hotel market. CLIC was launched in 2016 by Craig Sullivan, a seasoned hospitality industry professional, to harness the knowledge of our industry leaders, support our community, and educate emerging talent. CLIC brings together lodging professionals from California and beyond for one day of learning, professional development, and networking. If you are an owner, operator, investor, broker, developer, lender, management company, brand, or professional services provider, you should plan on attending CLIC 2 on March 8th, 2018 at the Hilton Irvine Orange County Airport. We invite you to go check out the California Lodging Investment Conference website at cliconference.com for the latest details and sponsorship opportunities. Early registration now open, and as a listener of the Checkout California radio show, please make sure to use our exclusive discount code of CheckoutCA when registering for this one-of-a-kind California hospitality event that sold out in its very first year.
Don't put out spoilers.
All right, so here we go. An immense amount of talent.
Gentlemen, introduce yourselves, please.
Yes.
Steven Semp with Crew Real Estate Group.
Sachin Shah with Atlas Hospitality Group.
And Ryan Huntsman with Chicago Title.
And tell me what those three things are, because title I get. So title is, you do title. I get that one.
Do you know what title insurance is?
Do you know
You
what
know, I
title
really
insurance
don't
is?
know. Tell me
So
what
let
title
Ryan
insurance is in
explain.
2 minutes.
Craig could probably teach this class a lot
When
better
you
than
do,
myself.
make sure to give your websites.
Yes,
Gentlemen.
okay. So come and visit us. You can find us, really, you can Google us, Chicago Title. We're
The biggest. Aren't you
we
guys
are-
the biggest or one of the biggest? Yeah.
We are. There's either Fidelity Companies or First American,
Right.
who we call them the Dirty Bird.
Dirty Bird.
But what we do is anytime you buy or
Bird's the
sell
word.
or even refinance real estate, you need a title insurance policy and you need somebody to facilitate the escrow process.
Entitlements, all
What is title insurance? To prove that somebody owns it?
It is. Not only that, but to make sure that when you take over a property that you don't inherit any liens or any bad debt or anything that
Clean
could be
title.
problems, any number of things.
Clean title.
There's
All
a
right.
slew of issues. You wouldn't believe it, but we see some crazy claims.
All right, so go around the block. Tell us what everybody else does here. You mentioned your
Gee.
companies.
Yes, so I'm Sachin Shah with Atlas Hospitality Group. We're the market leader in hotel sales in California. And,
we had your cohort here a while ago here, I think.
That's correct, Alan Ray.
That's right, Alan Ray. So you guys sell.
It's our first show.
Are you brokers or are you?
And we had no video.
So.
Are you brokers or do you
Because
just?
of Paul.
Or what do you do?
Yes, so
Tell
we're
these guys to
brokers.
be quiet
We
over there.
specialize in California, and we've been doing it for about just over 20 years, and been fortunate enough to lead the market in California.
And is California the leading hotel economy? Whatever, the hotel sales. Are there more hotels here, or
more
how's it
so
compared
than a lot of other states?
Than Florida, Texas, other places?
Gene is being humble about this. He's been there since day one.
We got to get you to get in the
they've
microphone here.
90% retention in the firm, so they've done really well.
Okay. And so I'm trying to say,
Are we a little arrogant in California because we're just so great?
Yes, we're great.
I think we're different
We're
than
different?
the rest of the country.
How are we different?
We're different.
It's December and it's 70 degrees out.
Yeah. So how are we different? Give me that. You
good,
open the door
Santa-
there.
Santa's on my Hawaiian shirt. How about you, Greg?
He's on
You're
his
doing
all over
something
his.
there that I don't want to
Mahalo,
comment
my
on.
friend.
Let the man answer here. So how are we different? How are we different?
Well, we are the 6th largest economy in the world.
Yes.
Going on 5th.
Going on, exactly.
Going on
We've been
And
drinking a lot of
just
fifths here
speaking
today.
Specifically from the hospitality side, to put it in layman's terms, in California, if you have a shut-down hotel in LA, it's still worth something as opposed to anywhere else in the country, except maybe the coastline
Kansas
of the
City?
East Coast. If it's closed down, it's not making money. It's not worth anything. Here, the dirt has value.
The dirt has value. There you go. Okay, all right. And then around to your guest in the back. What do you do exactly?
Steve Sem, principal of Crew Real Estate Group. We are a ownership of hotels, management, as well as asset management of hotels across this great country of ours.
And so you own them and manage them?
Own, manage, as well as we do asset management for third parties.
What kind of hotels? Little ones, big ones, medium?
Across the board, we do small boxes to from travel lodges all the way up to Renaissance hotels. So
what's the
Select
big
service to full
and what's the
service
big
is
trend?
the
Is it
proper
select?
term.
Is it more little cheap Airbnb kind of places? Hotel in a box, or is it the full experience that Craig loves? The boutique, the intimate experience, that you go for.
It's a case-by-case basis. It's city by city, market
Where
by
I can
market.
make money.
I mean, you got the extended stays that are really good in some markets, and you got a full service that are really good in some markets. You got full service assets, limited service assets. It really is based on what market you're in and what is missing.
Hasn't it always been that way, Steve, though?
It always. I mean, it's just the market is dictated by what is needed in a market.
But
I
that
mean,
has to
downtown LA. If I was to build a hotel today, I wouldn't be putting a franchise. Sorry, all my franchise friends. There's no need to it because there's not enough hotels already for the demand for it. Same thing in San Francisco. I was doing some consulting work back in 2010 on a property in San Francisco, and they put a flag on it and 125 rooms, and I was just like, why would you pay the franchise all that money when the market's running 95% occupancy, and you're going to have a cap on your ADR?
Yep.
Why do you pay the franchise? Is that because they feed people into you? They've got the reservation systems and the marketing and everything else to fill up your hotel. Is that why you don't do it yourself?
Yeah, again, it's market by market. I have independents and I have full service brands that are franchise as well.
But
it really is based on the market itself and what is needed.
Here's why I asked the question. Okay, I asked the question because, and you answered it, that it's always been the case, right? We tend to forget that sometimes in the course of expansion. That value of local knowledge
It's key.
Is key.
It's key.
Right?
So there isn't one trend that fits all.
Market,
No, not
how
at all.
your matrix is,
No.
the composition of what your offerings are on the property is so key to the success of a property and, more importantly, the sustainability of the success of the property.
But don't we live in a world that likes trends? That lenders look for trends. I'm going to lend to more multifamily because that's hot, and I'm not going to lend to, I don't know, pick another category. You're saying don't look at it that way. Look at it market by market.
It really is. I mean, for hospitality, it's truly market by market, city by city, state by state. I mean, I could look at a full-service hotel here in, Irvine compared to a full-service hotel in Minneapolis, and it's a completely different market. Now, the property in Minneapolis might make more sense to buy because of what you're buying it for and the opportunity there compared to what you're buying here. Because here, land value is very expensive.
Right.
You have employees are much more expensive here than they are in other states. And so, and then you also have to look at the union factor in a lot of the hotels.
Even between Irvine and coastal California, there's a difference.
Well, just between Irvine
Newport
and
Beach,
Irvine and Santa Ana.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right next door to each other.
Right. So
Irvine and Costa Mesa.
But California
Costa
has
Mesa,
one thing that seems to sustain it, which is what the previous gentleman just said. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting everybody's name. Your name is Sachin. Is that the dirt here has value? So even if you fail and the hotel is empty, the dirt has value.
But that's where the key that Steve was talking about local knowledge, down to the local area, even within California. Northern California, Southern California, L.A. versus Orange County, Garden Grove versus San Clemente. Riverside. That's so
Palm
different
Springs.
that if you are not dealing with people that are so immersed in those nuances, you are making decisions that are based on generalities that do not apply to your future success.
Well, that's why you make your life easier and you rely on a professional.
I'm already.
No, you absolutely do.
So here's a trend that
That's
Craig
the cool
claims.
thing about what we do.
So if you don't have those things going for you, you know what you should be involved with?
Tell me.
Apartments. Multifamily.
You should be listening to the show is what you should be doing.
Slow death.
So here's a trend, though, that Craig claims is over.
I kid, right? Because even with apartment industry, I think
I don't. It's
here's the
boring.
thing about hospitality, right? Okay, I'm gonna make a statement that's gonna sound negative, but it's actually very positive, and I actually love the fact that we are like this.
Just make it quickly.
No. You've been talking so much. No.
Really?
No. Don't even go.
Wow.
there.
Okay, all right. I'll try. Okay. We are insidious. Okay.
Ooh, there's a
we
word.
are insidious. Quality of life is directly linked to what we do every day in the hospitality industry. Okay. We provide
On a lot of levels. Absolutely.
an embetterment of people, whether it is by staying at those properties that we basically represent or have some involvement in, or just by the form of hospitality. We go back to that first show we did, where the word hospitality comes from the Templars that are hospitable, that basically aided in the transmission of pilgrims to the Holy Land. Okay, the word still holds true. It's such a giving industry and such a leave behind goodwill industry that even when it comes to apartments are trying to be hospitable.
No, they're not.
Medical. You
They
know what?
pretend to
If
be.
you're a smart developer,
They
you're
pretend
trying
to
to
be.
be.
Yeah, the newer ones
Yeah,
definitely
with the
are.
rooftop pools
Yeah, they look like
and the bar
hotels.
and the bowling alley and all that.
Absolutely.
Ping pong
You're getting
tables,
into- you're
real
smart,
You're getting
you are.
into the millennial factor.
Doesn't
where
matter. They still are looking for quality of life, Greg. It's
the
just a difference.
experiences, They're doing it now with that. If you look at all the apartment buildings,
But look at
from
they
70s,
sacrifice
80s,
not
90s.
because they don't have a lump sum of money to go buy real estate.
Exactly.
They have certain amount
Right,
every month.
they're
so
renting
they-
it on a monthly basis, but it's
And
still
then enjoy their
driven by
lives.
quality of life, gentlemen.
Enjoy their
And
lives.
whether it's assisted living, whether it's apartments, whether it's high-end resorts, whether it's motels, especially in desirable locations, it is all about hospitality.
Right.
When we forget as a hospitality industry that is what it's all about, is when we go awry.
Yeah.
Now, here is a trend, though, that Craig Sullivan has claimed is dead, that we'll never see again. The Terra Nova property, the giant resort.
resorts.
Destination resorts are dead. That trend is that's
Well,
a
when
dinosaur.
people have more
that
dollars
they're
than
dead.
cents,
It's just
then it'll happen again.
It's not going to happen again in my lifetime.
Okay,
Okay.
so here's my controversial, kind of just contrarian. Okay.
Okay.
Is it driven by the size of the property, or is it driven by the spirit that is housed in that property?
Oh, you're back
So-
to the spirit stuff and all
good-
that
good-
culture stuff.
Good
and-
question.
I mean, do
It's
you
great
need
question.
a
Ego of the
time?
owner.
Great question.
I want
Yeah.
to jump on this one.
It's,
I'm like
please.
pouncing. I'm
Steve,
ready to
Steve,
go.
go.
Pounce,
Right?
Steve.
Ego of the
Pounce.
And so
Steve.
I think the difference is when these properties were built back in the heyday and they're on hundreds of acres, they were not the best use of the land.
But Terranea was recent.
Right. Okay. Okay. So even Terranea.
Was
So
it based on the old model?
right. So I think the new model is going to be you're still going to build these beautiful
vertical.
You're still going to build these hotels. They're not going to be as laid out as possible. You're going to have better use of the value of the land. You're going to have condos. You're going to have possibly retail. You're going to have
Lease
other.
it all out.
You're going to have a lot of other avenues that you're going to be able to have come in revenue streams.
Yep.
Instead of like perfect example, I was just at the Omni down in La Costa.
Yeah.
And I'm at wow, like
Big
Beautiful place.
beautiful place, but man, I don't know what Omni did to that. Unfortunately, it really went
multi-profit
the wrong, went the wrong
centers.
way.
That is one of the
Multi-profit.
hardest spas to sustain.
Oh, absolutely. But it's the
Because of the
location,
size.
the location, the size, and everything is great. If you look at that asset in the next 10 years, it's going to be recapitalized. It's going to be reshifted.
Right.
It's going to be there's going to be so many changes on that land because the value of the land is far greater than what the value of the business is currently today.
Absolutely.
So what you're saying, Steve, is it's not driven by mass and scale. It's driven by what is included in that space.
Absolutely. You look at the entire package itself. You look at the entire parcels of land, and you look at the value of the land. It's not the best use of it. And if you are a true developer, a true ownership, and you're looking at it as a value add for your
Best
property,
use. Yeah.
what is if the value I buy in for $100 million? How can I make it $200 million? Well, you probably have to add something to it. You can obviously increase the value. You can increase the revenues. You can add a spa. You can update the golf course and have it whoever's golf course. But there's other parcels that you might be able
So
to parcel up and sell.
have you
Why- like the
contradicted
parking-
Craig Sullivan? Hang on, and said that there
I
will be
always contradict Craig Sullivan.
Actually,
will there
it
be
has-
destination resorts, but they'll have more revenue streams in them because condos and retail and other things.
Well, I think in
you
California it's
gotta
going to be
have
tough
that.
because it's land.
Yeah,
There's not
it's-
land to be able to develop those type of things anymore in
Well,
California.
and the
Actually,
other thing is,
it is-
okay, let's look at Terranea, okay? That started out as a hotel destination resort and also had a condo component. Now, the Coastal Commission switched it to a fractional. Now, I was at Terranea for a white
For visitor
paper
purposes,
that,
probably.
that, Urban Land Institute co-hosted.
Got to get you more into the
And
mic.
It was nonsense that they gave up the condos and turned it into fractional. That was part of the problem. The other part of the problem was they had a freaking lender that during the meltdown gave them one draw.
Yeah,
okay,
right.
Huge problem. So
Hard to keep it going.
Terranea is and it's under construction. Okay, Terranea is a beautiful resort. Everybody and their brother should stay there at least once in their lifetime. It from top to bottom, left to right, staff, ocean views, the two different pools. It's an amazing hotel.
Can you get us comp there?
There will
can we get
never
a free room
be
there? Maybe
another one in my lifetime built like that.
He ignored you, Paul.
So,
did.
Yeah, and I'm trying to ignore him a lot. Now, okay, if you look at Turtle Bay in Hawaii, that just sold for $300 million.
There's a 300,000. Can I buy it from?
Yeah, I'll buy it for 300,000.
I might buy it for
300
double
million.
But
million.
the point is this, Greg. Okay, do you
Well, I'll get an
really
SBA.
need the massive land in order to deliver
Yes,
the quality of
yes.
service?
Yes.
You do.
To give to
You
the
do.
destination.
The destination resort, you do.
I think you can deliver a certain quality of service,
you can.
but you can also deliver a high quality of service that is not driven by the mass of land that you have.
But the
And here's
land
the
is
re-
what's the destination.
Hold on.
Terranea
No,
took
it's
20
not.
years to build.
No, it's not. It's not the destination, Paul. Sorry, but when you basically have South Coast Plaza that basically was driving retail as
Holiday
an engine and the type, right? And then my friend Shaheen Sadeghi comes in and puts in the lab in the armpit of Bristol.
Armpit.
And comes in and calls it the anti-mall.
Right.
And it becomes a destination drive that basically has the first of many stores. Okay, then it expands to the camp, and then that model that was laughed at in 1994 becomes the basis for the Orange County mix, and what everybody is copying. That is what makes a destination.
So it's
What-
experience over land. All right,
Absolutely.
But
It's
your,
always
your friend
experience about
Steve's
overland.
shaking his head with me. He's saying you got to have a lot of land to make a destination
Oh
resort.
no, I don't. I think it's a mixture of both. You have
Right.
It's
I
the
absolutely
entire.
agree. It's a mixture of both.
The land gives you
the
an
land
opportunity.
gives you opportunities to do more
absolutely.
things, and it's
Hands
the
down.
best use of the land to make sure the customer has everything that they need.
I was going to say you have to satisfy the customer's expectations.
Absolutely. What is it?
So you can't really have a resort in downtown, which is like a historic hotel that I stayed at. It was supposed to be a resort. It's not.
Depends on what
know what
your
I mean? It
program
just-
is.
Well, it
though.
depends on the city too.
If your program
But-
is the Sky Slide, if your program is a game at the Staples Center, if your program is a walk through downtown
GW 's not a
historical
resort.
buildings
Well,
and the and
technically
Pershing
the
Square.
resort is, you know,
resort is sprawl.
No, but you see-
Resort, you never leave the property.
but
you
no,
do
no.
everything.
But
yeah.
that's the problem.
You golf, you
Okay,
play, you
we
swim.
We have a set expectation that everything happens on our own property.
Yes, that's a resort.
No, we've had this
You're
before. We've had properties in Postiano. We've had properties on the Amalfi Coast. We've had properties that are boutique little hotels in the north of Italy in Lake Como. We've had properties.
Hotels, they're not resorts.
No,
That's
but they're a resort in terms of the partnerships they have with the community, gentlemen.
No, you don't go there.
Definition of resort's a little bit.
No,
this conversation could be a whole other hour.
It's an issue of control.
Boom!
It's an issue of control over partners.
You lost that one. Sorry. You lost that one.
No.
All right, final takeaways. 5 minutes.
Definition of resorts.
What
are
happens
very
when
different.
what happens when your destination properties availability is limited? You are faced with the reality that you have to
90%
partner.
occupancy.
You have to partner with other entities in order to provide the services.
Look at retail. Right now,
Thank you.
look
Dead.
at Pacific City or something.
Dead.
They're bringing in. They could have been dead. A lot of retail centers have been Amazon.
Easily could have
Yeah.
been dead.
Now they've got an Equinox gym, and then they've got a coffee place,
There's
and
your
they've got some
partnerships.
shopping.
It's
so
not my
now,
partnership. Let's turn it into an offshoot of USC or UCLA.
Why
or
do
UC.
properties give away their restaurants? We used to be in 2000 used to put in 6 restaurants in a hotel. Then they basically eliminated everything but the 3-meal restaurant. Then they brought in something like
Go to
like a
Gastropub.
grill, right? And City Grill, and they put that as their signature. Then they started teaming up with they started teaming up with signature chefs, right?
but that's coming back.
Right, but the idea is that you have to house it in your own vicinity.
That's right.
People are looking for experiential real estate, be it retail, be it hospitality. If I am basically in a place that provides me a sleeping accommodation, but then is partnering with somebody else, right? And that is a unique experience offering through partnership versus through ownership. Why is that a bad thing?
But destination
Nobody said
means
it's a
you
bad
don't
thing.
leave.
It's,
You go there and it's
Well,
all
that's where
inclusive.
we're going. We're running out of real estate.
All right,
in
we're running out of
desirable
time, so everybody go around the
No,
room
we're
one.
not. No, we're not.
Go around the room. Go around the room. Give me one
What's
quick
the Joyce
takeaway.
Holiday?
Everybody
One
start.
quick take. Okay, I'll start. I want to thank my co-host and my engineer, Brad Gantos, and Paul, whatever your name is.
That other guy.
I'm the
who
co-host,
talked
not
too
the
much
engineer.
today.
But yeah. Rad is the co-host.
Rad,
Yeah,
you
this has
do
been
a
a
great
great-
job engineering, I'll tell you.
This has been
My father loves you.
Yeah, you're a great engineer.
a great
engineer.
experience. I want to thank all of our guests that
Cheers.
have been on. We've got
Cheers.
Stephen Seft in the studio. We got Sachin Shaw in the studio. We've got Ryan Huntsman in the studio.
Still
this
remembers
has
our
been a
name. That's
Great
great.
way to end the show. Well, that's because the one thing this show has in common is me.
It's all about you, Craig.
Ryan's
It's
family
actually
and
all
I
about
go
you,
back 2 generations.
40 years.
Okay.
All right, go around the
My
room.
dad and his grandfather worked together.
Oh, my
His
God.
mother and I worked together when we were 18 and young.
No way.
We were
Wow.
both beautiful. I've gotten old and ugly, and his mother's still beautiful. Sachin and I go back
20 years?
20 years.
So this is
Rad
old home
and I
week.
go back a few years.
This is
now.
old home week here.
Yeah.
All right, so go around the room quickly.
Steve Seft and I go back
Whenever.
almost
Last
15
yesterday.
years.
All right,
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So put a sock in Craig's
I
mouth and
love
we'll
all
go around
you
the room
guys.
here.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a great year. I really appreciate everybody being here.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you to my co-host. Thank you, Paul.
I want to thank everybody for being here. Paul, thank you very much for manning the board. Gentlemen, thank you for being here.
Claps and
Steve.
everything, man. That's
And
awesome.
I want to thank Greg. Really, when he says we all have him in common, it's very true.
Very true.
Okay? If anybody missed this show live, you really need to listen to it because there's a lot of stuff that what happened. No,
it's good stuff.
all
Yeah,
serious,
it's all good
all this
stuff.
seriousness
Good
aside,
stuff.
this industry that we represent, that we love, that we are really very much part of, DNA, as Greg likes to say,
is.
right?
It is in our
It is
DNA.
in our DNA, right? Is an evolving thing on a daily basis,
And it changes.
right?
Every day as well.
Which makes it exciting and why we are involved in it.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And we are at a point where we are basically approaching a paradigm shift, maybe. Right? And it's great because those boundaries that we used to have originally are gone. Right? Because of technology, because of limited real estate availability in destination areas, whatever. And it's so cool to be challenged by those things, to be engaged in that kind of solution provision for what that is. So I want to thank everybody for being here today. Thank you for everybody who listened in to the Checkout California show. 2018 is looking awesome.
Phenomenal. But you know what we did? We forgot to thank our dial-in guests.
I want to thank Bruce Ford,
Jackie Collins,
Glenn
Houseman.
The Messiah.
The Messiah of hospitality.
You know, all three of them, you know, we go back
too far.
Years and years and years.
First,
and thank you guys for all being part of the show today.
First and third Wednesday of every month, gentlemen and ladies out there, because it takes both of us to basically do what we do for the hospitality industry.
Check out California.
Check out California. The California California Lodging Industry Conference.
Thank you for being our guest today on Check Out California. We look forward to having you as a guest with us again in 2 weeks. Until then, you can always reach us through our Check Out California Facebook page or by emailing us at checkoutcalifornia@gmail.com. We love hearing from you. So do let us know what you think of the show and what areas of interest you'd like to see us cover in the future. Your feedback is very important to us as we continue to bring you the best hospitality our Golden State has to offer. Until next time, may all your days be filled with sunsets and palm trees. Now, go experience and check out California.
Imagine what it would feel like to lose everything. Your job, your home, your family, your dignity. This has happened to thousands of the men, women, veterans, and young adults we serve at Working Wardrobes. What do we do to help? We provide career development services, life skills workshops, job skills training. We provide the perfect interview outfit, and we get clients placed in jobs. Call Working Wardrobes, 714-210-2460. Donate, volunteer, invest, hire.